A real live class. So
Yay!
we're very excited. You're going to be our test subjects.
Something new.
I haven't brought this up with my group mates, but maybe they'll be okay with this. At the end, I was wondering if people could provide us feedback. Just let us know what worked for you and what didn't. That would be really helpful for us, since we need good teachers like you to tell us what we're doing right or wrong. So we're going to start off with annotation.
Yeah. So what do you guys know about annotation already? What comes to mind when we say that word? Have any of you studied this already? Got a little review of it back in middle school. What do you know about annotation already? What about when I say it? Annotation. Oh, good. There we go. What else do we know? Now that we got that little building block, what else do you think it might mean? Got anything else on that? Make some guesses. What do you think we're going to be talking about? That's fine. Guesses are fine.
Taking notes, maybe.
Taking notes, okay. Anybody want to build on that? Modify it? Kayla.
Taking notes on poetry.
Taking notes on poetry. Sure.
Wait. Does it mean annotation like writing on the page?
Ah, there we go.
Okay.
There we go. Good
Has
deal.
anybody? Well, we did that just now, right?
On your
What
Tupac
kind of
phone?
things did you do when you did that?
Thought about kind of the words.
Mm-hmm. What did you physically do on the page? Say that louder, sorry. You write some things down. What else do you do? Did anybody maybe underline something? Anybody underline anything? Highlight. All right. Good.
All right. Well, we're going to just kind of augment what you threw up here. Most of the time when I think of annotation, I think of it as a conversation with the text itself. So when I'm reading a book, and you'll find that you'll do this a lot as you go through high school and later college, is that you need to pick out main ideas and be able to have a discussion with the text. Ask questions. Ask questions about things you don't know, or maybe you want to know more about. So there are a couple things that we typically do when we annotate. We create questions. We make connections between things that we may have read and what we're reading right now, or things in our own lives and what we're reading, and then maybe things that we know about from other classes. And then we also might make little summaries just to keep our mind on the text. What's really great about this is that when you go to write papers, you'll have most of the work done already. You'll have a lot of that thinking already done, and you can refer back to it if you have discussions. It's awesome. I love it.
Does everybody have this down? I mean, just annotation's fine, and notation, just so you've got an idea of what's going on here. But we have, our definition was a written conversation that you're having with the text, okay? That you're going to write that somewhere. You might write it in your, kind of like in your Cornell notes, or you might write it directly on the page. But what happens in a conversation? Two things normally happen in conversations. What, say that again? People talk? What else do you do in a conversation?
Bring ideas.
When you're not talking, what are you doing when you're in a conversation? Listening? There we go. Good deal. So we're going to break down annotation into two categories. You do listening things, and you do talking things. Under listening, it's basic. What you're going to be doing is underlining, highlighting. Okay, so you can underline, you can highlight, you can I don't know how to spell anymore. You can highlight, you can star things, you can put brackets around stuff. Basically anything to pull so that you notice it. You're basically emphasizing it. It's kind of the equivalent when you're having a conversation, when you underline, when you highlight, of nodding, okay? You're listening to text and going, yeah, I get it, I got it. That makes sense, okay? And you guys remember slant that we talked about earlier this week? That's the N. This, when you underline, when you highlight, that's the end. You nod along with the text, and you're picking out the important parts. So then but that's not all annotation is. It also involves talking back to the text.
Mm-hmm.
And Anne already highlighted some
Yeah,
of the
so I'll write this down, and if you guys want, it would probably be helpful, I see some of you already doing it, we didn't even say it, but if you want to put it down in your Cornell notes, and on the left side of the page, you can write annotation, and then just maybe put the stuff on the right-hand side where the notes are. So, the things that I mentioned earlier were questioning, and then connections, and then summarizing. And if you have other things that you want to put in there, like, yes, I agree, something that gets you really excited, that's fine too. I do that all the time. You can argue with text.
Great. So there are 3 main purposes. Did you all get that?
Most of it? Good.
Okay. All right, because I'm going to write the 3 main purposes. First of all, it keeps you engaged with the text. Right? It's a way to keep your mind on what you're reading so that your mind doesn't drift off if you're writing while you're reading. It's hard to get sidetracked.
So you don't daydream in the middle of your conversation that you're having with the text.
Okay, the second one is to provide a reference. And Anne mentioned writing a paper, so you have stuff that you can look back and use when you're writing a paper, or if you're studying for a test. That's really helpful if you've already annotated your material. And then the third one, it's a way to get you thinking deeply about what you're reading. Helps you think deeper about what your subject is.
And that's specifically when you're doing the talking back to the text. That's when you deepen your thinking, because you're asking questions, you're making connections to other things you know about, maybe from another text, maybe to your life, maybe to something you saw in the news in the world, but you're probing deeper into your own brain and deeper into the text. So that's what you're doing.
Which can be really, really productive and help you get good A's on
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah. When you